Okay, what's good everybody? We're sort of in between tables right now. We're getting a new one. This is an Antman and the Wasp review. Movie was fantastic in my opinion. Definitely not the best Marvel movie, obviously. I think it's better than the first Ant-Man. You can tell that it's really like a sequel to that movie. They do all this same stuff, like, you know, making all the growing and shrinking jokes. Louise doing his rants and talking through other people's mouths or whatever. The cast all great. Still don't really. I get that they didn't make Wasp in the first movie. And that was because of Hank not wanting his daughter to risk it or something like that. And it doesn't make sense. I'm not realizing, because Hank Pym was Wasp at one point in the comics. But why did he, because he, you know, designed his stuff originally, then Wasp stuff later, why did he never give himself wings or zappers? He may have later got zappers, I don't know, but why not wings? I guess once he learned how to Once he learned how to grow, I guess that was better. Guess Yellow Jacket could fly too. Anyways, beside the point, this takes place before Infinity War, and so Ant-Man is on house arrest for 2 years from Civil War, as was Hawkeye, and that's what I don't get, is how did Hawkeye and Ant-Man get deals to go on house arrest, but the rest of the Avengers couldn't? I mean, I guess I don't know, I just feel like they could have easily went into house arrest. Well, I guess Bucky couldn't have. They had to hide Bucky because they were gonna do some crazy shit with him. But Scarlet Witch, Cap, Black Widow, I feel like they could have all just done the 2-year house arrest also. But I don't know. Anyways, and Scott's almost out of house arrest, which is awesome. And what's his face? The Asian guy that's in this movie, he's like the head FBI guy. He pops up in so much crap. And whenever he's there, he makes me laugh. Like, I'm not joking. I have never seen him in something that does make me laugh. He always cracks me up. And by this point, I feel like I should know his name. But he's always, when he pops up, he cracks me up. And I would love to see him have his own, like, little show or movie or something. But, like, I want to see it again just for his parts, really, at this point. Because I'm thinking of some of the funny shit he does. Now, the only reason Hank and Hope hate Scott at this point because they took the suit without permission to go help Cap, and they were wanted by the law because their suit is what helped him fight in Civil War. But I feel like since he took it without the permission, they shouldn't have gotten in trouble for it, you know. But either way, that's a whole other thing. I don't remember what happens, but Scott has the old Ant-Man suit. And I don't remember why he doesn't use it. But he uses the new prototype suit that Hank's been designing. And he keeps shrinking and growing, you know, and it kind of makes him mad that he doesn't actually have control of what he's doing. But still, it was a good time. There's a scene where he shrinks down and he gets malfunctioned, and he's like, I don't know, 2-3 feet tall, I don't know, maybe a little taller, and he's running around his daughter's school. That was funny. I love that his daughter keeps talking about wanting to go into this line of work, because she later becomes the statuer, which we all know. Which I doubt they'll ever really go into that. They might, I don't know. He's got a good relationship with his ex-wife and his baby mama's new guy, which is really weird in my opinion, but I mean, it's good that they can play along, you know, that they can get along together. But the stepdad I think he's just threatened, honestly. Like, he seems, I don't know, he seems a little weird. The villain Ghost isn't even a villain. It's a girl who got messed up through whatever those quantum particles and shit, and you're gonna hear the word quantum a lot in this movie. And it messed up her body so she can phase through shit, and it's so dope how she phases and everything, but like, she doesn't, like, actually, she can't control it and it hurts her. So she's just trying to find a way to cure herself, make herself better. So she's not even a villain. Bill Foster's in this, my boy Goliath. he dies in Civil War in the comics, so that's sort of a fun fact. And they have to bury him in a big grave because he dies as a giant. Dope seeing him, and he was actually in the movie a lot more than I was expecting. I thought he was going to be in it just a little bit. He was. All the action scenes, almost all the action scenes were in the trailer, but still, it was still such a good movie. Hope did amazing as Wasp, and Wasp is one of my favorite characters from, she's definitely in my top 10 Avengers for sure, and I love Janet Van Dyne, so I was hurt that I didn't get to see her in the first one, and now she's here as freaking Michelle Pfeiffer, but you don't actually get to see her be Wasp, but that's a whole other thing. Michelle Pfeiffer is nice in the little bit of the movie she's in. Hope does good, because there isn't even a Hope in the comics. There's like an evil Hope from an alternate dimension or something, I believe. But besides that, there's no Hope. And like, I don't know, 2 years? A year or so after the original Ant-Man came out, they do introduce Nadia Pym to the comics, which is Hank's long-lost daughter he never knew, and he still doesn't know her because he's dead as Ultron or some shit. You know, comics. And so she was introduced. I don't know if she was introduced because of, like, you know, Wasp, you know, a new Wasp being there in the movies or what. And now she and Scott have their own comic called Ant-Man and the Wasp, but she's not Hope, she's Nadia. And Nadia's also part of the Champions and was part of the Avengers for a little bit, and I really like Nadia. That's not even a part of the movie, so I don't know what I'm talking about it. Wasp's costume looks great. It was a lot more yellow than I thought it looked in the pictures and trailers, so that made me happy. It was fantastic. And you know what I don't get is how when they take off their helmets, it's like a little flabbiness back here, but when they shoot it up, it looks like a hard metal, but I don't know. The real villain of this movie would have been the guys in the suits. I don't know who they were. There's a big funny thing going on with Truth Serum, Louise and T.I. and the Russian one. They're all funny again. Louise is hilarious as always. The villain, like the guy in the suit villain, I don't know. He was the bad guy in the new Tomb Raider movie. And I mean, that's all him and his guys are. They're bad guys and henchmen. They're just there to get kicked around and beat up, really. Really, Caitlin was saying that it was just like a bunch of kids playing tag or keep away or whatever. That's what it was. They were all trying to get Hank's shrunken down lab, the little building that you see in the trailer that he shrinks down and walks off like a suitcase. That's everybody in the movie. Ant-Man and his team and Ghost and then the bad guys in the suits. They're all chasing after it over and over again. So one person knocks it out of another person's hand, another person catches it, they're riding around in cars, shooting each other, all sorts of stuff. It's just a big game of chase. Which, I mean, still, it's an enjoyable movie. Doesn't really do much for the overall MCU movie. And I think it was LeRon over on Read Us 101 that said something a while back. He was saying something about how the Ant-Man movies are like just filler to get us to the next movie. And it's honestly true. Because, like, all the Avengers and Guardians and Avengers spin-off movies and all that, they build the overall story. But Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp, really, they build more, but they're really just filler. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I've never even heard of Ghost until this movie. Just like I never heard of Killmonger until Black Panther. Malekith, I guess I heard of Malekith. That's a lie, because of the Avengers cartoon. Trying to just think other villains I'd never heard of until the movie. Whiplash, never heard of him until the movie. But anyways, Ghost I had never heard of. I watched videos and stuff on Ghost, and Ghost is a guy, but they never actually know his secret identity, and I think he's stuck in the suit. But yeah, they change it for this, and Ghost isn't even a villain, but you know, it's, you know, movies and stuff. So really, there's not really like a solid super villain. There's antagonists and stuff, but there's not really like a villain. And lots of good laughs. Obviously, the Ant-Man movies and the Guardian movies are like the top funny MCU movies. So yeah, great laughs here and there. The cast, I mean, everyone delivers great laughs. At the end of the day, they get Janet out of the quantum realm. Everyone's that big happy family. Janet has magical powers now because of the quantum realm. I don't know science. And she saves Ghost. And Caitlin's theory about Bill Foster being the father of Ghost was actually kind of true. He was more like a foster father, but also her father is Elias Starr, Eggman, or Egghead. I'm mixing up Sonic. Anyways, I literally have a video planned, and I'm keeping them how it is. It's characters I'm surprised have not made it in the MCU yet, and I'm keeping him, Elias, on the list. Because that was bullcrap. He was just a bald guy, and from how they played it, seemed like a good guy. So no, that's some bullcrap. And he just dies? I don't think so. I do not think so. Beside the point. You know, they talk about Civil War and everything, and I like Antman talks about, he was saying something about Cap, and Wasp looked at him and was like, Cap? He goes, Captain America, Cap. It's what we call him. And I'm like, shut up. You're not pals with Cap. Oh my god. But the end credit scene is what I'll get into now. My dusting theory was correct. I said that Wasp would dust. I said Wasp, or Hope and Hank would dust. I didn't really care or think about Janet because I knew she was going to be in the movie, but I didn't know how exactly. So I didn't really count her in the theory, but I said that Hank and Wasp would dust, and they did. And Scott goes into the quantum realm again and goes in the quantum realm, and he's stuck there because they dusted, because it's now caught up to the events of Infinity War. But also, Scott gets taken off house arrest right at the end of the movie. You know, like, he's probably out of house arrest for less than a day at the end of the movie. And what I'm not getting is, how could he and Hawkeye not go join the fight? I guess they're not supposed to be vigilantes anymore either, but that's probably why Cap and everyone else didn't do the house arrest thing, because they have to not be superheroes. But Ant-Man, Wasp, and Hawkeye, they could have all went and tried to help out with Thanos, you know, fighting Thanos, because they built in the end credit scene, they built another quantum tunnel thingy, and it's shrunken. At least I don't know if they rebuilt it. Maybe they shrunk the original one. Did the original one get destroyed? I guess I'd have to watch it again. But either way, if they shrunk the original quantum tunnel, then it makes more sense. But if they rebuilt a quantum tunnel and made it smaller this time, then it doesn't make much sense, because it has to have been, it's probably, if they rebuild it, at least a week. They're not that fast at building stuff and being, you know, great scientists. I don't know, maybe they are. But that means that he was out in time to fight with it, to help with Thanos. He would have seen the news and all of that good stuff to know that that shit's going on. But I don't really know. The timeline's kind of messed up there. But yeah, if they shrunk the original one, if it didn't get destroyed, then it makes more sense. I'll give it to them, because then they could have shrunk it, and the next day could have went to work on that, and then not really, and while he was on house arrest, all that shit was going down. Either way, so I'm not sure with the timeline exactly, because Ant-Man and Wasp could have went and tried to help the Avengers, I feel like. And definitely could have helped a little bit more, because they could have shrunken into Thanos' head, whatever, blown him up, some other different stuff. But my destined theory was correct, so they're gone. It says Ant-Man and the Wasp will return, just like it says Ant-Man will return, or Captain America will return, or the Avengers will return. You know how it always does. Caitlin was very excited for that part, though, because she was like, oh my god, that means that Wasp really will return. All the people in the dust. And I was like, babe, remember I already talked about this. The people that turned to dust are definitely coming back. And she was like, yeah, that's what we talked about. But now it's official, because they said Wasp will return. And she cracks me up. So Wasp will return. The end credit scene is, y'all can leave. It's just a giant ant that they, you know, grow in the movie or whatever, drumming, just playing the drums. That's all it is. And I've discovered the complete end credit scenes of Marvel movies now, they're a big fuck you, huh? Aren't they? Guardians of the Galaxy had Howard the Duck talking to the Collector, talking about why you let it lick you like that. Which is cool for me because I like Howard the Duck, but like, didn't further anything really. So the Collector's still alive. The end of Spider-Man Homecoming. Cap was like, patience, is it worth it? Da 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 da. End of Avengers, they're eating shawarma. I don't think the rest of Phase 1 even did the complete end credit scenes. They just did the mid credit scenes. I mean, what else? The end of Iron Man 3 just had showed that Iron Man was narrating or talking to Bruce, and Bruce woke up. But I mean, that was sort of pointless. End of Thor Ragnarok shows that the Grandmaster's still alive, but like nothing crazy. But then I realized I can't actually leave because the end credit scene of Black Panther shows that Bucky's still out there and doing good, which, I mean, we already knew that, but, like, it shows it, and the end of Infinity War shows Nick Fury and, Agent Hill being dusted and calling Captain Marvel. But, I mean, really most of the time, the end credit scene is really, it's a waste of time. It's just a big fuck you. But great movie, better than the first one. I don't know where it ranks in my MCU movies, because, I mean, y'all, I just did it, like, you know, before Infinity War came out, so y'all can check that out. I don't really know exactly where it'd be. I know it would not be in my top 3, and I know it would be above Antman and the Wasp, so that sort of ranks it for you a little bit. Yeah, that's it for this movie, and yeah, and until next time, stay geeky.
Hi! Do you have a pupper?
Meow, meow.
If so, get Le Bullymake box.
Is that Bullymake box?
It's orange.
It's orange? It's box?
It's got dogs on it.
So you like dogs and you have dogs, you got Bullymake. Oh!
That's a phone.
That's Ben calling.
Phones can't use
Hey,
people.
Bullymake people, we're
But you
talking
know-
about you right now.
Tell them we're recording their
We're
ad.
recording an ad for you because your box is so cool.
Awesome!
Dogs love it. What was that? Promo code IG10?
Puppers love them.
They said to use promo code IG10 for stuff off. $10 off, promo code IG10.